Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Nick Cage Fight podcast, where every once in a while we get to review a decent movie that we think you would enjoy. Or am I just trying to gain your confidence in a way that allows me to trick you into giving me your money? Time will tell. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by Rich and Ryan. How are we tonight?
Con is on. I'm doing a pigeon drop.
This movie was so up my alley because, like, the first 6 years of my professional career, I worked in debt collections for a fucking timeshare. So, like, yeah, real scammy.
Yeah, that's really scammy.
Yeah.
We'll try not to hold it against you.
Hey, man, I had to make money somehow.
Yeah, no, that's fucking fair.
Man's got to eat.
Also,
Capitalism be out there.
Rich, I wanted to ask, did my description of this is like, you'll dig it because it's like a gambler movie, but it's not about gambling? Did that actually land? Did you find it?
It's better because I love a scam movie.
Scam movies are so good. That's why The Hustler's like one of my favorites.
I love The Hustler. It's not like, I don't know. I like The Wolf of Wall Street. I fucking love Boiler Room.
Boiler Room solid.
Boiler Room is so fucking good. Why has nobody seen Boiler Room?
I watch Boiler Room like once a week.
Hell yeah.
Like fucking, like, I wish Vin Diesel kept acting instead of just being Dominic Toretto.
Yeah.
I love those movies.
So many good fucking things.
He was in okay, I watched because I kind of got on a Vin Diesel kick.
Oh, did you watch all the Riddicks?
I didn't watch Riddicks yet, but I did watch
the Riddicks.
Favorite.
Hang on, I got to go to my external hard drive because I just download movies I know I'm going to watch a bunch of.
So tell me you've seen Knockaround, guys.
Oh, it's called Find Me Guilty.
Huh, I don't think I've heard of that one.
I haven't heard of that one
Find Me
either.
Guilty. So this is a true story. He plays a mob boss who, him and his associates are getting charged on RICO. And he represents himself, and he actually gets, like, everybody off.
Oh, he
Not
gets
bet
them
he
off,
does.
you say.
Oh, yeah. The movie's fine. The story is very interesting, and Vin Diesel does a good job.
All right. I might have to check that out.
Okay, so
for watching Vin Diesel get a bunch of guys off.
Yeah.
Have you seen Knockaround, guys?
I have not.
Put that on your list
yeah,
immediately.
put that one on the list.
Doing it right now.
So speaking of con movies, like, does anybody actually know what the con was in The Sting? I've watched that movie like 10 times and I still cannot wrap my head around what the fuck they're actually doing.
I watched The Sting once 20 years ago and don't remember much of it.
Yeah,
so I will rewatch and I'll let you know what it is.
Okay, I would love to know what the fuck they're actually trying to achieve in that movie, because it's like, and then he listened to some jazz for like 3 hours.
Well, to be fair, that is an old-timey scam, but the scam is just to get you to listen to jazz for 3 hours. So if it's not abundantly clear, you didn't tune in for the last episode, we are here to talk about Matchstick Men, a 2003 film, which is remarkably rated PG-13. I did not realize that before.
Wait,
I was
this got
doing
a PG-13?
Yeah,
that tracks for me.
I thought I heard
minimal blood. There was some cursing, but like, it's a Ridley Scott. Like, he's a well-regarded director, so
yeah. But like Ridley Scott, like, what was the one with Matt Damon where he was like the dude's best friend and then not the best friend, then killed him on a boat? The Talented Mr.
Good
Ripley.
Will
Wasn't that a
Hunting.
Ridley Scott?
Oh, Talented Mr. Ripley. I don't think that was a Ridley Scott movie, but I'll find out.
I thought it was.
Clocks in at an hour and 56-minute runtime, which does not feel excessive at all for this film, in my opinion.
No, it was a good amount.
Yeah,
it was tight. It was tight.
Yeah,
it was.
Talented Mr. Ripley was directed by Anthony Minghella.
Oh, it felt like a Ridley Scott. I swear to God. Oh my God, he did fucking 1492 Conquest of Paradise.
Don't know what that is. Is it about the Crusades? That
you said it with such authority too. Why should we know this film?
Is this the one that was so incredibly racist? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Is that about the fall of Constantinople?
No, it's about Christopher Columbus.
Real fucking okay.
They try to
fuck
do
a manatee in that movie.
I mean, it's not historically accurate unless he does.
No,
correct.
It is not historically accurate, and it was a box office flop then, and even now people look at it like worse, obviously, because Christopher Columbus.
So looking at Ridley Scott's filmography, this is his last good movie.
So
This is definitely his last good one.
Wait.
American Gangster was not bad. It wasn't good.
It wasn't
good.
Bad.
Wait, what did you guys have against American Gangster?
Boring.
Boring. It was fine, but I found it a bit boring.
Yeah.
All right, so I've been on a Denzel Washington kick lately. I will quibble with that. But
okay,
also,
I will also say I'm not a huge Denzel Washington guy. Outside of a few things here and there, I look Training Day. Fuck yeah, inject it into my veins.
Training Day.
Malcolm X, give that shit to me. But like for the most part, if I see Denzel Washington, I think
Equalizer 2
did not like Equalizer
3. I haven't seen that one yet.
Although the advertisement I see for it is very funny when he's just like, "Why do y'all like the Equalizer so much?"
The one because it's mindless action and it's very entertaining. Man on Fire, fantastic fucking film.
Man on Fire does with us.
John Q.
I love John Q.
Did not like John Q. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Yeah, no, Denzel Washington is always a treasure when he's on screen. I hope he never does something bad. That's gonna ruin his career for me. But to be clear, also, I guess you both hated The Last Duel.
I didn't see it yet.
Didn't see it.
Okay.
I actually am kind of interested in that because it seems to be a Rashomon.
Oh, wait a minute. And he did House of Gucci, which is not good, but it's hilarious.
Didn't see it.
Oh, don't care. You have
to.
It's so funny. It's unintentionally funny because like they have everybody do these over the top fucking Italian accents. He made Jared Leto gain 60 pounds.
Oh.
That I'm in favor.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. I fucking loved it.
So this is probably the weirdest introduction we had to housekeeping because we just went off on a Ridley Scott rant. But let me throw out some other ones and get your opinions on it. So, Alien.
Love it. Wish there was more than one alien, though.
No, I loved it. There's only one alien. It's perfect.
I sent you guys one letterbox.
Right? Yeah. Holy shit.
It's like Alien. I love this movie. It was so perfect. I wish there was more than one alien in it. Review for Aliens 2 is like, or Aliens is like, holy shit.
Yeah.
All right. Blade Runner.
Fucking one of my favorite movies of all time.
All right. Thelma and Louise.
Pretty solid, yeah.
Gladiator.
I like Gladiator.
I hear they're making a second one.
This is gonna gladiate again.
the gladiating.
I mean, are we just gonna skip over G.I. Jane too? Because that was not bad. I mean, it was.
I was gonna
propaganda,
say something,
but
I was gonna say something about G.I. Jane, but I was worried that Will Smith might hit me.
Yeah, true. You know what? Good call. Good call.
I have The Last Duel on here. You guys haven't seen that. I am curious about your guys' opinions on it. But he also did Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I went on an Alien kick recently too. You didn't like Prometheus?
I fucking hated it.
Why? I'm just curious.
Bad color grading. Shot like shit. Story was stupid. Fucking just walk to the left.
All right, that last one got me. The color grading suffers from the modern trend in that washed out like blue filter bullshit.
Yeah, but like they've solved that. There are movies that look good that are shot on digital. It doesn't have to be like this, Ridley.
I didn't hate it. Covenant lost me at a couple of points. I like Fassbender.
Yeah, that's fair. I just wish that like they would have let Alien as a franchise get as weird as it almost did when they had like William Gibson write a spec script for Aliens 3, and it was supposed to be like a fucking they're aliens set loose in a like a space monastery. Like they use parts of his script, but they don't actually go as weird with it as they could have. Where there's like
Alien Resurrection was pretty fucking weird.
Alien Resurrection is weird, but like in a bad way. I wanted it to be weird in a good way.
It was weird in oddly enough, in my opinion, like weird in a way that set the stage for fucking Riddick.
Okay, all right,
right?
Yeah. Fucking space jail movies rule.
Yeah.
I'm also just gonna watch Alien tonight.
That's a good plan. I've been playing this one-player board game called Final Girl, and I just got it's not Alien branded, but it's totally just a fucking Alien scenario for it.
Nice.
So I might do that.
Speaking of Final Girls, have we talked about Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon on this podcast before?
Every time it can come up, yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
Perfect. Just making sure we're checking all our boxes.
Absolutely.
Guys. All right, so let's move on to writers real quick because there's really not too much to talk about here. There was a trio of writers on this film, starting with Eric Garcia, who wrote Repo Men. To be very clear, Repo Men. That's the Jude Law flick.
It's not Repo Man, the amazing flick.
Not ordinary fucking people.
Not ordinary fucking people. Emilio is not here.
Correct. Strange But True and Kaleidoscope, which was a TV series.
And just to clarify, this is a based on a book by credit. He wrote the book this is based on.
Gotcha. Okay. Next up, we have Nicholas Griffin, who, as far as I can tell, besides this film, just wrote 2 episodes for Terriers, the TV show, which I never watched personally, but I heard reasonably decent things about it during its runtime.
Why does he have a writer's credit on the Adventureland soundtrack?
He wrote like 2 songs, apparently.
Huh. Okay.
And then we have Ted Griffin, who wrote Best Laid Plans, Rumor Has It, Ocean's 11. This is the Clooney one.
Hell yeah, loving it. I was watching that last night. I fucking love Ocean's 11.
Yo, he wrote fucking Ravenous? What the fuck?
Ravenous, Killers, Tower Heist, an episode of The Shield, and he wrote a bunch of episodes for Terriers.
Oh, if you guys have not seen Ravenous, Rich, you'll hate it.
I was about to say, give me a...
So, moving on to cast, try and wrap this before our first ad break. First up, as always, we have Nick Cage as Roy Waller. Next up, we have Alison Lohman as Angela. She was in Drag Me to Hell, White Oleander, Big Fish, Gamer, and Officer Down. Gotta call out Officer Down. I love a Kim Coates joint.
Yeah, and surprised to learn that she's like done and retired.
I was surprised to learn that she was like 23 when she shot this movie.
I'm not. She looked like an adult playing a child.
Yeah.
It was good casting. In my opinion.
Because that's what it is.
Right, because she looked like a scammer. She looked like a scammer who could pass as a child, but like looked to be like 21 or 22, and that's probably what she was meant to be in the movie, which works.
And I got one more shout out. She was the original English voice actress for the dub of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, one of the only Hayao Miyazaki movies I really fucking like.
Oh, there you go. Next up, we have Sam Rockwell as Frank Mercer. Sam Rockwell, I'm personally a fan of. He was in Moon, 7 Psychopaths, the 3 Billboards movie, Richard Jewell, Jojo Rabbit, G-Force, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, among other roles of his.
I'll call out Vice, where he played a great dumb George Bush. And he played Bob Fosse in a movie called Fosse Verdon. And I love Bob Fosse. I don't think it's the first time I've mentioned him on this podcast.
I'll shout out 3 because this dude had a good career. And, fucking love Sam Rockwell. Is in a movie called Choke, an adaptation of a Chuck Palahniuk novel about a sex addict.
Yep.
Loved that. Great soundtrack. Some clap your hands, say yeah up on there. He's also in The Assassination of Jesse James by Coward Robert Ford, which is just a really good fucking slow-said Western. Yep. And he's in a movie called Better Living Through Chemistry, where he works as a pharmacist and just deals with a lot of pills.
There you go.
Oh shit! Hang on. He's also in a movie that I've seen. I didn't like it, but like a lot of people did. It's called G-Force.
I did already put that in there explicitly to needle Ryan.
Damn it! I thought I was being funny there, and
every time you guys mention G-Force, my head gets closer and closer to popping like that dude in Scanners,
or in whatchamacallit, Blade 1.
Yeah,
or in
the tie-in here being, I think one of the main characters in Terrier was the dude who plays like Deacon Frost's right-hand man in Blade 1. So there you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of connections, our next actor in the cast is our Sopranos tie-in. And that is one Bruce Altman, who plays Dr. Klein in this film, who was in The Sopranos as the dude Tony buys his shore house, the Whitecaps, from.
I knew that I knew him from somewhere, and I couldn't place it.
That one actually didn't come up in my research. I just remembered that one. He's been in just an unbelievable amount of TV. He was in Ozarks, but as far as his filmography specifically, I have Running Scared, Regarding Henry, and The Paper. But just pick a fucking TV show. He's likely been in it. Next up, we have Bruce McGill as Chuck Frechette. Chuck's character name I forgot through most of my notes and just referred to him as Mark. But I'll do my best to correct that as we go through this episode. But he was in Lincoln, Law Abiding Citizen, The Insider, and Time Cop.
I love a Time Cop.
I threw Time Cop in there just for you, Ryan.
Yeah, that's fair. I am the one who would love Time Cop.
So now we're into sort of the honorable mentions here. We have Jenny O'Hara as Miss Schaefer. She was in Mystic River, one of the worst M. Night Shyamalan films, Devil, Extract, Wishmaster, and just a metric fuck ton of TV appearances. Followed very closely by Beth Grant as Laundry Lady. Beth Grant is your go-to stern school marm, typically. I like her role in this one because she's actually very likable, but she was in Donnie Darko, No Country for Old Men, Little Miss Sunshine, Speed, and an upcoming film for us to eventually review, Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, yeah.
And my final entry here, also an honorable mention because it is a very small part, but Fran Kranz plays the slacker boyfriend in this film. Fran Kranz has been in Mass, The Dark Tower, The Village, and Cabin in the Woods. Apologies for our loyal listeners if I've already said this on my on our podcast, but I'm going to go into one of my favorite anecdotes about film in general regarding Fran Kranz. In Cabin in the Woods, Fran Kranz plays literally like a Shaggy-esque from Scooby-Doo character who is a super stoner. I really enjoyed the film when it came out because he reminded me of my roommate at the time, a close personal friend of mine, because his introduction to the film is he drives up with a like travel coffee mug that actually extends into a bong. And so he was like smoking weed in his car as he drives up in the film. But fun fact, he shared the screen with Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself, who is literally playing a archetypical jock, like shredded jock. And Fran Kranz had to be in baggy, loose-fitting, long-sleeve clothing throughout the entirety of the film to really sell him as the dorky stoner, because Fran Kranz is ripped like Jesus on the cross. So if they had him in any less clothing at any point in the film, he would have completely upstaged Chris Hemsworth. I can't believe they cast him in the film. I'm super happy that they did, but that's one of my favorite stupid anecdotes about a movie. So there you go, Fran Kranz. Tip the cap to you, sir. Keep working out, man. I'm sure everything will go your way.
Keep doing them push-ups.
Hell yeah. And that is going to conclude housekeeping. And you know what follows housekeeping? Well, when we go this long talking about Ridley Scott and Fran Kranz, it's ads. That's what it is. It's some ads. So I don't know. Enjoy what the algorithm
go spend that money, bitches.
Yeah. Enjoy what the algorithm throws up this time. Probably human growth hormone or something like that. Probably something workout related. Creatine, supplements of some sort. I don't know. You listen. Yeah. Let us know. Right in.
Okay, so now the trick is, dear listener, every ad you just listened to, you're going to put that into a bowl, mix it all together, and then inject it into your veins. You're going to get massive gains at the gym. I'm talking about 5 to 10 pounds in 5 days. Easy.
So how much better do you think this movie would have been if it was about hawking dick pills?
Infinitely.
It would have been nice to have a dick pill scam in there.
Yeah.
We didn't get that, which is a shame, but you know, whatever. Maybe when they make the sequel.
Matchdick Men.
Matchdick Men. That's good.
That's solid.
I like that one. Very, very good. So the opening scenes basically give us the general premise of our main characters, our primary main characters being Roy Waller and his protege Frank Mercer. They're a couple of confidence men. Their current scam, as the movie opens, is a fake lottery where they call up unsuspecting people, tell them they've won entry into a drawing for some relatively unbelievable prizes, and then are cautioned that they're going to have to pay taxes on the gift that they receive unless they purchase an absurdly priced water filter, at which point the prize tax can be written off as a business expense of some sort, and then they snag this money from these individuals. So we get some great scenes of Sam Rockwell getting people on the hook, and then Nick Cage sort of closing the deal when the person that they're scamming wants to talk to their husband before, cutting a check for a courier to come pick up, which is fucking crazy, of course. But again, this is the sort of scam that an older person would fall for, I guess, when this movie was set, and probably some of them today. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
definitely.
No, so I'll tell you about like kind of a similar scam that like can really only work on old people. So what you do is you call them up, and it doesn't matter. We would normally say, hey, oh, well, why? Because of where we're from, we used to say. Then at that point, they say, okay, great. We say, we just need the. That's it. Oh, well, how does that work? We need the last four of your. Don't need your full thing. And we need to know. Now, for security purposes, and what was the name of your first dog? Perfect. Thank you so much. They hang up the phone. You go to their bank. You get their. Try to log in with everybody. Boom. Rob them blind.
Boom. Got him.
Boom. That is not legal advice, I would say.
And I don't think
so much of that is
going to get any actual idea of what he was laying down there.
No. I did this all for the bit. It's I committed to the bit.
You really did.
No, I like it.
But that's a real scam.
How to scam some old people now.
Yes, Ryan and Josh both know how to scam old people. And you know what? If you just throw like $50 in an envelope, you don't got to put an address on it. It'll just get to me. Just throw it in the mail. No address, no nothing. It's fine. It'll find its way to me. And if you do that, I'll unbleep it for you.
All right, Rich, since you graced us with a scam, I'm going to reveal something deeply embarrassing and personal from my own past. So when I was in high school, I took up as a hobby close-up magic for a time. Could you tell I had just a metric fuck ton of friends when I was in high school?
It's so popular.
Jokes aside, it was just a weird fixation from like my other issues not having to do with making friends. But I did this for quite some time and I got halfway decent at it. But one of the things that I learned how to do was to steal watches from people in the course of doing a card trick. And I did this several times, and I always thought, I was like, I could probably make some money fucking stealing watches if I got good at this. But that never ended up being something I did. What did help me as a broke college student living in the city of Philadelphia was I knew the tricks surrounding 3-card Monty.
I knew it was coming to 3-card Monty. Knew it. I'm so happy right now.
And where I lived, which was just a couple blocks away from the Galleria Mall, there was always like buskers and 3-card Monty games on the sidewalks leading up to that. So what I would do is beat the scammers running 3-card Monty, which is only like 3 plays. You can pull it off maybe 3 times, and then you gotta get the fuck out of here. And
they got the muscle around the corner.
No, not around the corner.
It's there.
The crowd.
It's in the crowd. Yeah.
So
everybody in the crowd except for one person. Like the whole point of 3-card Monty is you have the dude doing it, and everybody around him is in on the scam. You're just taking the one dude who walks up.
So to be fair, the games that I got away with snagging cash from, there was usually only like one ringer, maybe 2, because the traffic was so heavy on those streets. That's really all you needed to do to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
But when you knew when to walk away and avoid getting sucked back in, that's when those guys got activated. So anyway, the way I played video games that were coming out at the time was I would just take $50 off of the 3-card Monty scammers and then sprint into the mall. And I did this with some regularity during my college years.
I'm surprised they didn't have like a little Polaroid of you taped up to the plastic fucking tables that they got.
It might have gotten to that point eventually. I don't
Monty
know.
This man.
Yeah, no Monties for this man. Anyway, so
yeah, that's one thing I never got good at that I wish I did was like was sleight of hand and like pickpocketing.
I've got a whole ass shelf of shit about that. If you want to borrow some books.
No, it's my hand. My fingers are short and stubby, and my hand shakes. So it's it is a physical thing. I got to use my brain. It's the
shaky hand that made it so that I couldn't like get to that next level.
Yeah. So
if you guys are interested,
I got to use my brain to scam people, which is fine. Scamming people is super easy, actually.
It's an easy, fun, and legal thrill. Just like throwing car batteries into the ocean to recharge the
Jesus. So Roy and Frank are running these scams. They get an old lady with this trick, and we learn this is actually a 2-step scam. Instead of just selling somebody a water filter for $350 when it only really costs $40, they followed up by showing up at their home disguised as officers working for the FTC, I think it is, to get more particular details about their banking information to supposedly file charges against the scamsters. So this is what we get to see in the opening. There's right off the bat, both Roy and Frank are relatively compelling characters. Roy clearly has a number of issues as far as physical tics, clear OCD. He counts out, opening and closing the door like you stereotypically see associated with OCD. What I think is funny is that he happens to count in English and Japanese for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I don't know why that was, but I liked it.
Yeah. Rockwell is incredibly charming as a sleazebag, in my opinion. Him purposely goofing on Roy as far as his particular peculiarities, like asking him what they're going to get for lunch when he knows for a fact, like, Roy eats primarily canned tuna from the can, as far as I can tell. It's just absolutely crazy. But yeah, Frank does enjoy trying to press Roy's buttons on this. So we even get a early indication of some of Roy's triggers that sort of cause his tics to spiral out of control when they're following up on the scam with an old lady who purchased one of the water filtration systems, when she opens the sliding glass door and leaves it open. I thought this was a fun bit of camera work with the intense light behind Sam Rockwell's character and like the zoom in on all the like dust and shit from outside, and Frank growing increasingly agitated by it. So he freaks out a bit, but they conclude their business at that house and get back into the car. And we get the introduction to the crux of this storyline, which is Frank trying to get Roy to agree to this longer con he has in mind with a specific mark. Roy declines to do this. He says specifically he doesn't do long cons, doesn't elaborate on why, but
I can tell you why. The longer the con, the less the success rate. Every day that you're doing a con, just the success rate goes down. You want to get in and get out as quickly as possible.
So it's funny because the con they end up pulling has a relatively tight timeline. It's maybe a week at most?
Right, but that is, I would still call that a long con. A short con to me is selling someone a timeshare. It takes 2 hours. That's a short con.
A short con is my car broke down. I need money for gas. Or that trick with the I can't remember exactly how it's done. The you gave me the wrong change trick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I working in restaurants, I've seen bartenders get scooped on that one several times.
I got scooped on that once.
It's only like $15, $20, like
yeah.
60 to 80 at most, depending on how good they are or how big they're going with it. But it's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things.
No.
Anyway, so while cleaning his house later that day, Roy ends up knocking all of his meds for his issues that he's getting illegally. He knocks all of these down into his garbage disposal and has like a full-blown meltdown about it.
I'm pretty sure those are just Benadryl pills, by the way.
The way it was shot, by the way,
sure, yeah.
I thought he did it on purpose.
No, I got that it was a kind of like an absent-minded, like he was focused on the other thing.
You're making me feel self-conscious, Rich, because I have absolutely knocked something down in the exact same fashion as that scene.
My bad.
And it was unintentional. I can tell you that much. So he can't get a hold of his or not his doctor. We learn later it's his supplier. The guy skipped town. The guy he gets on the phone is like, he owes me back rent. and Cage as Roy plays obviously freakouts phenomenally well, which is why he's a great casting choice for this particular character.
Yeah, there is one specific line delivery later in the movie that got me so fucking good.
Probably my favorite line in the whole movie.
It's probably mine as well.
Yeah, I think it might be unanimous as one of the greatest line deliveries that Cage has ever put to film.
I think about that all the time. Anytime somebody says, "Hey, buddy, haven't you ever heard of blank?" I think of that line.
Okay, cool.
I have to physically stop myself from responding with that.
And this might be a one I might have to queue up during our break.
Yeah, I think that might be necessary. It's got a good visual cue too, so like you should be able to find it real easy.
We're definitely gonna hit it in part 2. So
it may actually be the greatest Nick Cage line, at least line delivery.
I think so. Yeah,
it's up there for sure. So Frank goes on this absurd cleaning binge. She's ignoring.
Maybe get the big knife might be better, but that's it.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Continue.
If I said his name wrong, Roy goes on a crazy cleaning binge. He's ignoring all of Frank's calls to him, and Frank eventually comes to see him. This is a very funny scene because it triggers another panic attack because Frank comes in. He's eating like a hoagie. He doesn't take his shoes off. He's messing up the house, and Frank convinces Roy to go see a therapist, and he can get his medication that way, and so on and so forth. So Roy isn't a big believer in the power of therapy, but he does agree. And the next scene we see him in, he's at a doctor's. So the doctor isn't going to prescribe him pills without them having a talk first. So Roy relents, and we learn that he was married prior, and the woman he was with left him after he hit her at some point while she was pregnant, and this all occurred around 14 years ago. So the doctor gives him pills, but not a prescription, pills directly, like samples he had in the office, and sends him on his way. So I did make a note of this. For a clean freak, Roy sure does smoke a lot indoors, which is, in my mind, one of the biggest changes as time has progressed. Smoking inside of a house.
Yeah, nobody does that anymore.
Gross. As somebody who did it when I was a fucking scumbag in my college years and that was still acceptable, let me tell you, that is not good. If you're smoking in your house still in this year of our Lord 2023, fucking stop. Go out on your porch, backstep, outside onto the street. You'll be doing yourself a favor.
Retail value alone.
Yeah. So Roy is caught up in his feelings because of therapy. He tries calling his ex several times, but can't go through with it. So back in therapy, his doctor and encourages him to dive a little bit more into his past relationship, and Roy ultimately asks him for help contacting his ex to find out if he really does have a kid. This is something that he has, never verified, and he's curious about it, but he knows he can't go through with this, following up on it with himself. So later on, the doctor calls Roy to let him know that he did speak with his ex and that Roy's daughter, Angela, is eager to meet him and speak with him. So Roy agrees and he goes to a park to meet her. He's having trouble waiting in his car, seeing people around. Like his issues are starting to get to him, and he's about to leave when Angela rides up on a skateboard. He almost at this point still decides to leave without making contact with her, but ultimately he decides to get her attention at the last second. Having had enough of being outside for any length of time.
He's Roy like, I hate being outside.
Yeah. He invites her to go eat. Can you eat something? Can we go somewhere? I don't like being outside. So they go to eat, and like immediately the character of Angela is posed as being something, being a person almost designed in a lab to hit all of Roy's triggers. Just like even in this restaurant, she's eating a burger and it's a messy
big sloppy burger.
Yeah, it's a messy meal, and he's staring at her like she has three heads, which is kind of funny. But Angela asks, like, what do you do? And sort of implies that Roy's ex, her mom, has said some negative things about him in the past, essentially implying that he's a criminal. So after treating her to a messy burger, he goes to drop her off at home, and she makes him drop her off away from the house explicitly so her mom won't see. She does give him her personal number before leaving. I can't tell exactly, like I couldn't peg exactly when this movie was set, so I don't know if it is a cell phone or just a personal landline number at the house. I'm leaning towards the latter.
Yes, I would be too, just based on the time frame of when this was written and produced.
Also, the way she says it, like my friend, she kept freaking out because my friend would call me at like midnight or something like that. Yeah. And that's only ever an issue on a house line. So Roy is a bit out of sorts with this whole thing, but seems happy. So much so that the next day he tells Frank, "Hey, listen, you know that long con you got? Let's do it. Let's move ahead with it." So they scope out to Mark, who is at I think he's at like a car wash. He's driving a Lexus. It's like a moderately doing well for yourself vehicle, I guess, especially at the time. I think they're a little bit more widespread these days, but I'm not a car guy. So Roy settles on, we'll pull a Jamaican switch on him. I don't know if this is a real scam term or if it's just vaguely racist.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll look it up real quick.
I thought what they're doing is technically a pigeon drop.
What's a pigeon drop?
Pigeon drop is when you scam somebody into giving you money because they expect that you're going to give them more money, usually through a trade of currencies, like happens in this.
Okay. All right.
Okay, hang on. The Jamaican switch is a real thing. Each and every day comes. Hang on. I'm trying to see what it is because they give it like a lot of fluff on here.
That's okay because you know what else a Jamaican switch is?
Ooh, what's that?
It's when you stop talking about a plot and pivot directly into ads. It's a podcast term.
Oh my God. Have we been conned by ourselves?
And that's what we're pulling right now. So Rich can research on the fly and you all can listen to this ad for BYU or something. If your aspiration is to become a YouTuber who abuses their children, I guess. You know what market share we're definitely not getting on this podcast?
Jamaicans?
Mormons.
Yeah.
We rag on them almost as much as we rag on the Amish. I think they're probably our most ragged on demographic at this point in time.
I mean, justifiably so.
I agree 100%, but goddamn, if they don't pay for like just blanket ad purchases. I don't know what to do about that, folks. It's a bit of a conundrum when you're in our particular advertising range, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so a Jamaican switch is just a really convoluted sleight of hand trick,
like including a pigeon drop of some sort.
No, like, okay, so this is what it is.
Is it just the fucking suitcase move at the end? Towards the end? Towards the kind of mark?
Sorta. It's basically somebody convinces you to take money out of your bank for some reason, possibly to show them like how easy banking is. Like the reason why it's called Jamaican switch is in this scenario, it's normally run by foreigners who have like broken English, don't know how to read or write, anything like that, or say they don't. And they ask like, hey, can you get something for me? And they pull out like a big wad of cash. There's then a third party who comes up, who's in on the scam and says, you shouldn't carry that much cash around. You should go to a bank. And the foreigner then says, like, I don't trust banks, blah, blah, blah. They go back and forth, and then you get roped back into it because the woman says, or the person who has all of the cash says, like, if you can show me how easy it is, I'll do it. So the person agrees, and that's how they pull out the cash. So you make the withdrawal no matter how much money it is. She's like, oh, well, let me show you how we secure cash in my country. She takes the cash from you, puts it in a handkerchief, and like secures it and says, this is how we do it. Now there's a sleight of hand trick to remove the cash. They hand you back the handkerchief that's like all knotted up and stuff.
Okay,
so they walk out, open up the handkerchief.
What goes down.
Yeah.
So it's a pigeon drop with a Jamaican switch.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking. People love.
Charming phrasing.
I can't even clown on it as somebody who works in like one of those fucking cubicle professional setting jobs. Let me tell you, there's very few things the human race enjoys more than specific jargon for jargon's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to set the stage for the scam, Roy goes to his safe deposit box and pulls out some cash, American and foreign. It's sterlings.
Yeah, pound sterlings. British money.
Brit money.
Yeah, that special Brit money.
Dollary dues.
Gotcha. Dollary dues.
Some loonies, but not really loonies.
So we do also see at this point that Roy has a lot of money stashed away from doing this for the duration that he has been doing it. And then he goes home and he practices his character, which is pretty fucking funny. I got to admit, seeing Nick Cage in a role practice roles in front of a mirror was oddly satisfying.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
And he comes up with a good line. Obviously, I know it's written, but his character is like, to some people, foreign exchange rates or money is like a foreign film without subtitles. Like, all right, there you go. That's fine. That's quippy. It's solid. So as he's getting ready to go and essentially bait the hook for the mark with Frank, his doorbell rings and it's Angela. And she tells him that she got into a fight with her mom and wants to stay for the weekend. He is in a rush and on a timetable for this scam. And so he just leaves her in the house so he can make it to the meeting, which is bold. I don't know that you leave a 14-year-old that you met for the first time several days ago in your house without any sort of explicit rules or even a goddamn TV.
Yeah.
This is a minor plot point, but Roy doesn't have a TV, which is fucking crazy.
I mean, I get it. Like, if your OCD is that bad and you just spend most of your time cleaning, like, yeah, save money. Don't get a TV. You're not going to watch it anyway.
Yo, you know what fucking helps OCD or weird obsessive issues is vegging out in front of a story in your perfectly clean apartment, man. So either way, Roy does this and then goes to a strip club for his meeting. This is a good scene. It's intercut. We get the scenes with Roy and Frank and the Mark at the strip club, intercut with Angela sort of going through Roy's house in the same way a curious teenager would. She sees all of his oddly specifically folded underwear in an underwear drawer and messes it up just because,
because funny.
Yeah, because that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Frank shows up and sits with Roy at the table that they've picked out. And Roy mentions that the Mark didn't notice Frank coming in, so Frank obnoxiously calls for a beer to get the guy's attention. Back at the house, Angela finds Roy has this weird dog statue,
which I love and want.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's bizarre though, right? It's like a hidey hole. I wouldn't call it a safe because there's no locking mechanism on it.
Oh, it's definitely just a hidey hole. But
if you twist the head, it comes off and there's a cavity there. But the funny thing is that
I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be a cookie jar originally.
Probably, because the funniest bit about it's a little bit big for a fucking cookie jar, but the funniest thing about it is it has like a mechanical bark / growl depending on how stupid you are with twisting his head off, because we definitely get different clips from this thing throughout the course of the film, which is funny.
Yeah.
So she finds this, goes through it. There's some cash and a handgun in it, which is potentially a little suspicious. Except for the fact that this is essentially a bachelor pad. It's not that weird. It's also in America and in Arizona. I'm not sure exactly what their carry laws are out there, but I'm assuming it's a little bit less strict than the East Coast that I'm familiar with. So back at the strip club, the way they set the hook here is that the Mark knows Frank. Frank gets the Mark to notice him meeting with this nicely dressed dude. He's in a button down with like French collars and shit. He looks like a businessman of some sort, potentially a little out of place at this strip club. And when the Mark comes over to say hi to Frank, Roy specifically plays it not only coy but specifically cold, clearly trying to hide an envelope that he later exchanges with Frank. It's pretty slickly played, in my opinion. I would have been curious if I saw one of you assholes at a bar and I go to say hi and you're talking to some banker looking guy and he's being really shifty about an envelope, I would follow up with you.
Yeah, no, I am there against my will if you ever see that. Like, help me that I'm there against my will, 100%.
I'm running a grift if you see me in a place like that.
Oh, but you see both of us, we're both running.
We're doing the fucking trade-off grift.
Yeah.
One of us is going to smash and grab, and the other one's going to do a...
we can just...
switch with a pigeon drop.
Pigeon switch, if you will.
Yeah. We can just involve Josh and just do the sleight of hand. Done.
There we go.
But then it's a three-way split, less money.
That's going to be your fucking problem, because if I come across you, and even though you've told me you're like, I'm there against my will, something's wrong, help me out, I'm going to think you're pulling a con and just try and help you out to con whoever you're sitting with.
Yeah,
and
just
then we're both going to end up in flex cuffs in the back of a van. So with the scam hook effect.
Oh, but actually, just speaking of that, to our listeners out there, Renegade Cut just put out a great YouTube video on how to escape those. You should watch it.
Is it the knee thing? Is it the being cuffed behind the back or being cuffed in the front?
Behind the back. I haven't watched it yet, but I watch a lot of his videos, and they're all very good, very serious, like good advice for people. So I'm going to watch it tonight.
Flex cuffs are tough. You need pressure and then sharp weight applied at a fulcrum, which is great because when your wrists are cuffed together, you have that kind of naturally. But it's going to hurt. Yeah, also, the heavy duty ones, I don't know. Send me the video, Rich. I will check it out.
Yeah, hang on. I'll find it as you talk.
Speaking of escaping cuffs, because I cannot avoid a solid rabbit trail. One of the funniest thing, another stupid hobby of mine that I picked up in more recent years is lock picking, which is a lot of fun. If you can't tell, it is fun.
I do like to lock pick.
My particular brand of psychosis involves figuring out hobbies that include using your hands. So anyway, One of the best videos I've ever seen is a dude who's clearly held in a hospital bed by handcuffs, like in an official capacity, and just pulling the edge off of a like McDonald's, like a cup of soda topper. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know this mechanism.
Peeling it off, feeding it into the slip cuff, clicking it a little bit closer, and then just undoing the whole thing. It's an amazing move.
Twist ties work better, but you don't always have access to those. There's a fucking McDonald's everywhere, though.
Basically, any thin piece of plastic that you can manipulate into that, it can defeat handcuffs, which is amazing. So, on his way home from the strip club, Roy stops to pick up ice cream from his favorite grocery. And I'm not sure that this is the first point in the film, but it is a recurring theme. Roy goes to one grocery store near his house. He always goes to the same cashier every time. I'm assuming it's meant to be a manifestation of his OCD.
Which means that he has to know her fucking schedule. Because you can't always assume that she's going to be there.
Their schedules sync up to such a normal degree that if she's working, he takes her line. But here, I'm going to have a rant here. Because this is such a throwaway shot, and it severely angered me. Roy leaves the grocery store. It's nighttime. But he's walking through a mostly empty parking lot to his car. And the reason why I couldn't just take this as a simple transitory scene is because there are about 50 scattered shopping carts willy-nilly all over this parking lot that made me absolutely furious. So I'm going to go on a brief thing. I, as a person, I'm generally willing to give people the benefit of the doubt on their actions and shit like that. I don't get pissed off when people cut me off. Like, what if they have a medical emergency? Or what if they're really stressed about wherever they have to go to? I don't take any of that personally. You know what I do fucking take personally? People leaving their shopping carts in the middle of a goddamn parking lot. Like, it's the biggest asshole move ever. You never have an emergency after you're done grocery shopping that requires you to leave your shopping cart in the middle of a parking lot. Put it back like the rest of us. If you don't do that, that's the surest sign to me individually that you're an asshole and I want nothing to do with you. More than that, I do want to do you physical harm at that point in time. And
also, the people who were parked like 3 spots away from the corral, and you see the cart like just sitting there, and it's like 10 feet from the corral. You're a sociopath.
I'm a very conflict averse person. Every time I see somebody just like push their cart and like get in their car, I scream across a parking lot. I'm like, what kind of fucking asshole are you? Like, that is the bit of Jersey conflict that not even any of the rest of my hangups is able to fucking pave over in any way, shape, or form. If I get stabbed or shot and it's in a grocery store parking lot, there's no mystery there. I screamed at somebody about what they did with their shopping cart. You can go to the bank on that one.
I'm just picturing in us that comes out sometimes, and
I'm just picturing Josh going, "Hey, I'm shopping over here.
I'm shopping here."
Yeah, no, that shit makes me lose my mind, and for whatever reason, to get a cute nighttime shot of Nick Cage walking through a fucking grocery store parking lot, they thought it would be great to scatter these things. Or I don't know if this was supposed to be a scene reinforcing that Nick Cage is paying less attention to his particular brand of OCD because of the presence of his daughter that he's, no longer estranged from for the first time in 14 years. If that's what it was going for, it triggered something in me that made me completely miss that point. Because that scene made me pause the fucking movie and count and be like, what kind of assholes live by Roy Waller in this fucking scene? Yeah, no, I had a bit of a moment And I think that is about as good a place to stop as our cliffhanger. Will Roy and Frank pull off their long-term con here? Will Josh ever get over people not returning their shopping cart to the little fucking,
cart corral?
The cart corrals that they have right there. I mean, it's easy to do it. There's no reason not to, unless you're an asshole. Tune in next time to see the con, whether they pull off the con question. That's still up in the air. Whether I'll ever get over my shopping cart issue.
No.
Spoiler alert. The answer is fucking no. I will not. While you're waiting for the thrilling conclusion of Matchstick Men, please give us a follow on social media. Interact with us. We're good people. We're nice to interact with, unless you don't return your shopping carts like some kind of fucking savage. But you can follow us on Twitter or X or whatever it's going to be called next week at cagefight_pod. We're there, still there, hurling threats at Elon Musk until he bans us officially. So check us out. Rich keeps telling me about this Patreon that we have.
Yeah, we do have a Patreon. I did a really bad job of promoting it this podcast. I normally try to get one or two in there in the middle, and I totally forgot. Patreon.com/NickCageFight. $1 a month gets you every episode without ads. You pay more money, you get more stuff. You get bonus episodes. You get episodes that are completely uncut, like 2 weeks early. There's things in there. There's things that you can get if you just give us a couple of dollars.
That sounds like a good deal to me.
It is. It's a fine deal. It's a fine deal. It's like when you find a 10% off coupon at Dick's. Like, you're like, yeah, you know what? That's a deal. It's fine.
I could use a basketball.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Ryan, how's the Cage Fight podcast brand water filters coming? Are those ready to get?
They should hit market right at the end of this quarter. I'm expecting some high profits from that.
Solid. I heard
the less, the better.
Yeah.
Now, what I heard is that scammers might be trying to sell them for $350, but we have them at $50 each. And again, just shove that money into an envelope. Don't put an address on it. Just shove it into a mailbox. It'll find us. And once we get the money,
you gotta write Nick Cage on the envelope, but you gotta misspell Nick. Put that K in there. Make sure that you got that K.
Yeah. The K's got to be in there.
Don't
put your address. Don't put your address on there.
We don't need to know where you live. We don't want to know where you live.
The water filter will get to you somehow.
And these filters, they take the fluoride out, but total innovation in the industry. This one puts colloidal silver in. Fluoride out, colloidal silver in. You can skip the supplements. It's a win-win in a way that no other water filter is.
Right. And the other things that it will take out, that chemical that turns the frogs gay.
Oh, but what if I want my gay frogs?
Well, then you just don't use a water filter. There's an off switch.
Oh, don't forget about the special feature. We have that little dispenser at the bottom for the dick pills.
Yes, we do have that. Also, a little thing too. The filtered water, if you give it to your vaccinated friend, it will unvaccinate them.
God damn it! I'm so sorry. In an episode about scams, if we came up with a supplement with
that unvaccinated people,
very carefully, like vaguely worded to the point that we'd have to get a lawyer to write it out for us to make sure we couldn't get sued, but it strongly implies you could slip it to your family members and make them unvaxxed, we would make so much fucking money.
Scam.
Are you kidding me? It's just filled with like sawdust and powdered duck liver or some shit like that. You can buy it wholesale,
I'm surprised that nobody has gotten in on that yet. Of like, are you concerned about your vaccinated loved ones? sneak this pill into their food, and they will become unvaccinated again. They can become purebloods.
I mean, when you come up with a scam that is too far beyond the pale for Alex Jones to have attempted it at this point, I think you're on the bleeding edge of business.
Absolutely.
I think that's some Shark Tank shit right there.
I mean, honestly, with that kind of rhetoric, we could just sell a fucking whoopee cushion that devaxes you.
So they're afraid of chemtrails, so it's some sort of aerosol based thing.
It's just a rebranded can of canned farts from the 90s.
My favorite meme right now on Twitter is whenever somebody dies, it's a scene from The Sopranos when they tell him that his mother died, and and it used to say, "Oh my God, so and so died. They were such an amazing human being." I used to say that. Now it just says "vaxxed."
That is pretty good. My favorite reaction, used too many times because too many famous people die all the time, is just the Grim Reaper at a claw drop machine.
Oh yeah,
going, is Henry Kissinger even in this fucking thing?
Yes, I do like that. I'm gonna see if I can get the Sopranos vaxxed meme for Ryan over here.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
Yeah,
I'd have a little bit of that.
All right, that's gonna do it for us this time. Tune in next time where we wrap up Matchstick Men, a solid movie. I meant to say this at the top of the episode, but I'll mention it before episode 2. I highly recommend, if you like scams, if you like gambling movies, if any of this seemed up your alley, I highly recommend watching the movie before you listen to 3 dipshits explain it to you step by step. It's worth the watch, and then you can come back for the dick pill jokes and the colloidal silver jokes and trashing Mormons and shit like that. But thank you as always for tuning in, and please remember, listeners, we appreciate you.